Hey Aries, I hope you're doing well. Let's get into your reading for May, the mid portion of May 2019. Show me energies present for the sign of Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Show me energies for Aries. Aries, please. What's happening for Aries? Okay, show me for Aries. First two cards popping out, both fives, challenges. You have the Five of Pentacles and you have the Five of Cups in reverse. So this is basically looking at a situation where we have let go of essentially regret in regard to a situation and decided to move on towards something, even if that's been difficult. Let's pull more cards for you guys. But that's good. That's good. I mean, that's facing fears. That's making realities happen. You know, it's changing the outcome of things. You know, there's only so much stagnancy that somebody can sit in for so long until you have to get out of it. Yeah, you have the Nine of Wands popping out in reverse. All of these cards are upright, okay? The Nine of Wands in reverse, this is talking about letting go of frustration, letting go of feeling defensive. It's releasing worry, constraint, you know, being stuck in a situation that we no longer want to be in. It's letting it go. That's positive. That's incredibly positive. It feels like this has taken quite a while to get to, but it's good. Show me more for Aries. The Five of Wands. So this is about conflict. It's about difficulty having communications with others, not seeing eye to eye, being at your wit's end in regard to a situation, somebody wanting to have the last say, too many opinions. But it can be, again, you have 3 fives here now. Difficult changes, you know, but it's moving, it's happening. I think here it's like you may be in a situation where you might be dealing with somebody where walking away is causing conflict within them. You want out. Somebody wants out. Somebody wants to let it go, release the emotions about it, just make a clean slate and move towards what they want in their life. And it's almost as if there's opposition here, whether that be opposition within you actually doing this, getting away from this, you know, because we can get tied into things in our minds and in our hearts and we get pulled back and forth. Or you might be in an opposition situation of opposition with somebody who doesn't want you to go. But it feels like you've kind of already made up your mind, Aries. Show me one more for Aries, please. So you have 2 cards here popping out, both in reverse. Okay, interesting. So you have the Page of Cups in reverse and you have the Ace of Swords in reverse. Now, I want to mention the Page of Cups in reverse. It can talk about emotional unease, depression, mental frustration, mental illness. It can talk about having a lack of creativity. It can talk about not receiving communication properly, like emotional exchange with somebody, not receiving the truth. That's highlighted even more so here with the Ace of Swords in reverse. The Ace of Swords upright, it talks about clarity, receiving truth, speaking truth, being very honest, cutting things away that no longer work for your life. You know, in reverse, this is talking about not having clarity, not seeing what's happening. You know, if you look at this bird in reverse, it has blinders on. This bird has blinders on. So information here is not being communicated. Truth is not being communicated. It's bringing conflict. If you're dealing with somebody that has a fair amount of conflict around them or in your situation, it doesn't feel like what they bring or provide is honest. It doesn't feel like that communication is honest. It doesn't feel like they're emotional. They're not emotionally stable. And I feel here with you, Aries, it feels like you already have made up the decision to go, to let this burden go, let the emotions and the frustrations, the regret, the anguish and the pain go. And as much as a difficulty as it may be to do that, you'd rather do that, you know? So that's good. Bravo. Like, that's important when we see what's unhealthy in our lives, when we see what's toxic and we make the effort to release it. That's taking control of our experience. That's exactly what we need to do in our lives. A lot of people have a very difficult time doing that just because we become very used to frustration and pain and like being connected to people who are toxic for us. It's important to really release yourself from these energies because, you know, they've served their purpose. But, you know, somebody who's willing to remain dishonest with you, not bring the truth, not communicate what you need to hear, like, why maintain that type of energy? And for the bottom of this deck, you have the Queen of Swords here. So this is cutting things out, being genuine. I'm sorry, I have cat hair in my lipstick. Being genuine in regard to which direction you want to go in, what truth you want to experience, what truth you will receive. She's a truth seeker. She's not receiving truth here. She's receiving incremental BS from somebody who's emotionally out of balance. That's something that we need to let go of. It's not your fault if somebody is in that state of mind or in that emotional state. You can't sometimes help people like that. Like, they have to do it on their own and they have to figure it out on their own. It's not your job necessarily, okay? So that's at the overall energy. So getting true with the situation, being honest, being direct in what you want and what you require. And sometimes that literally means just removing yourself. This is it. I'm done. Tra-la-la. Bye. Show me the Five of Cups in reverse here for Aries, please. You got two cards popping out. You have the Queen of Pentacles and you have the Four of Swords. So this is basically stepping away from a situation to take time for yourself. It's cultivating your money. It's cultivating your home. Sometimes being in our home is one of the biggest gifts we can give ourselves. It's that alone time. It's that self-care. It's I did it the other day. I went and bought a ton of plants from Home Depot because I needed more plants. Like, my ex got all of my plants, you know, so I needed more plants. I went on Amazon and I don't have any here to show you, but I bought these chandelier crystals. There's these round, like, prism crystals, and each window has 5 crystals in it. So every time I raise up the shades in the morning and in the afternoon, my whole house is flooded with rainbows. Like, it's to clear the energy, to clear the space in my house. Rainbows refract and reflect things. They heal space and energy, color therapy. I believe in that kind of stuff. But what I'm doing is I'm taking care of my home. I'm taking care of my surroundings. I rearranged my entire house. You know, it's about taking care of your home, but also your home is you. What are you doing to nurture yourself? What are you doing to ensure that you're eating healthy food, drinking healthy water, thinking healthy things, you know, viewing healthy media? Are you spending too much time, you know, when you should be taking time for yourself and healing? Are you just on the internet getting toxic reinforcement? Like, be careful about that type of stuff, okay? Because it's important that you step away from this, and it's important that you take time and heal. This is a card about healing. It's a card about recognizing where we essentially have reached our limit and we have to take a break. You know, that can be closing out a situation with somebody entirely. It can talk about, you know, shutting somebody out and not really wanting to reopen that door. It can also just talk about taking time for yourself. Here we have it popping up with the Queen of Pentacles, taking time for yourself to nurture. Okay, the Queen of Pentacles for me very much represents aspects of the Empress. The Empress is somebody who is very nurturing. She takes care of herself. She's incredibly abundant. Both of these cards have a fair deal of abundance in connection to each other. I'm sorry, the Empress and the Queen of Pentacles. And basically what the Queen of Pentacles does, she nurtures her life. She nurtures herself. She nurtures those that are around her. Sometimes, though, if we're leaving a situation, it's time to take care of us. Okay. Yeah. you could have earth sign in your chart as well. You could be dealing with an earth sign. This could literally be also taking a break from an earth sign, somebody who, now the other energy that I'm feeling here is if you are taking a break from an earth sign, there's somebody who focuses way too much on material gain, and not enough about connectivity emotionally. Show me the Five of Pentacles for Aries. So you have the Seven of Cups coming out for the Five of Pentacles. So in regard to this, decision may have been hard. It may have been difficult, but I think the reward in regard to releasing frustration, releasing remorse and regret, I think that that's going to be a boon in the long run. Releasing that type of energy, Aries, it's important. The decision, the Seven of Cups talks about, upright, it talks about decisions that are difficult to make. We're kind of having a lot of confusion in regard to this. It can also talk about drinking and doing drugs and kind of creating cloudiness in our experience. But here in reverse, which it popped out in reverse, it talks about releasing situations. It talks about making a decision, whether that be to release all decisions and not make a decision now, or it means I have made the decision to walk away from something, and I do so with some pain in my heart, but I also know that the energy that I'm walking towards is far greater and far healthier than what I may have been experiencing thus far. And so now doing that and knowing that and arming yourself with that energy and that understanding, it is time to take a break. It is time to nurture yourself. It is time to sit within your power and be confident and strong, okay? Here at the bottom of the deck for this Seven of Cups in reverse, you have the Justice card. So this is literally talking about cutting people out of your life, restoring justice if justice has not been done or given to you. It talks in regard to the Queen of Swords here as well, and the Ace of Swords in reverse. This could talk about legal matters in regard to a person, just being done with a situation legally with somebody. If you've maybe had a legally binding relationship, doesn't have to be. It can just literally be cutting somebody out because it's not healthy for you. Show me the Nine of Wands in reverse. So yeah, you have the Seven of Pentacles in reverse with the Nine of Wands in reverse. This is giving up on a situation. It's letting it go. It's evaluating everything about it that you've already essentially put into a situation and releasing it because it doesn't make sense for you. That's healthy though, especially if it's something that causes you a fair amount of disruption in your emotions, in your thinking, in your are you feeling defensive about something? Like, why maintain situations that bring defensiveness and frustration and are wrought with like mental anguish? Like, that's a big jump. Let it go. That's incredibly positive, and I applaud you for that because that's very difficult for a lot of people to do. I've even been through that where it's incredibly difficult to let go of things and people because it's like we have our hearts connected to them, or there's been so much that's happened between you two that it's like all of the memories and all of the connections that you have, but then it's like the reality is, well, you treat me like shit, or the situation just brings problems over and over again, and I'm getting real with it and I'm cutting it out. End of story, because clearly you can't change or you don't have the desire to change. So that's kind of where this is at. Show me the Five of, okay. So for the Five of Wands here, you have the Three of Cups popping out. Now, the Three of Cups, it can talk about celebration. It can talk about third-party situations, but it can also talk about friends and family that we may be having difficulties communicating with here with these two cards together. People that we once saw eye to eye with, now we're having conflict and disruption. It can also talk about, with this type of conflict and disruption in your experience and life and situation right now, it may be a time to actually seek out your friends. It may be a time to go ahead and contact your family members that you trust and love, that feel good to be around. Whether that be you need to actually physically go there because you need some sort of new living situation, whether that be you just need to have that connection because it's healthier for you and you can enjoy those people and connect with them more. That's what that's talking about. Here, the bottom of the deck, you have the Nine of Cups. So this is being around people that bring you joy, people that bring you abundance, people that you can trust, people that you can connect with. Here, This is not energy that you can connect with. This is grandstanding, somebody needing to be right all the time, people not being able to communicate effectively. Go towards what is healthy and happy. It feels like you're dropping this energy anyhow, Aries, and being much happier and better for it, okay? I'm going to put that Nine of Cups back in the deck, and let's clarify the Page of Cups in reverse. Why is the Page of Cups here in reverse? Show me the Page of Cups in reverse. So you have the Hermit. So this isn't even just about like looking in on a situation, like hoping that they change. This is about looking at somebody for who they are. It's about looking at somebody for their limitations and their faults and recognizing that you really don't have any much more to do with it. Like, it's not your job to fix somebody, okay? And be careful about holding on to snakes. Even if you do love a person, don't hold on to somebody that has proven to you time and time again that they, you know, are ineffective in conveying their emotions. They are disruptive. They are deceptive in that. That's not very great. You have the Ace of Swords with the Page of Cups. They're both in reverse. Like, this is somebody who is dishonest. But more so, I think what you're recognizing here, yeah, they may be dishonest with you, and boohoo, that's terrible, whatever, it happens. People lie to each other. People are dishonest all the time. I think what you're doing, Aries, is actually looking at the person for who they are and recognizing how they are dishonest to themselves. And it's like this whole reading feels like you're getting a completely different perspective on your feelings from where they once were to now in the direction that you're changing things. You're getting a different perspective on how you view a person and what they've shown you thus far and what you can look in on now. And I think, you know, the desire to experience more happiness with people that you know are solid in your life and that you love, I think that's looking more and more enticing. And I would definitely suggest that you go towards that because it seems very healthy for you to do that. You know, you can't fix people. You can't fix people, but you know what? The ones that are good for you, like, those are good to be around. So do it, you know. Show me the Ace of Swords in reverse. So the Three of Wands here for the Ace of Swords in reverse. In regard to this, it's you can't change an outcome that is not yours to change. Like, you can do everything in your power to do things that will affect it healthfully, in a good way. But you can't change somebody else's actions, and you need two people working in tandem to be able to make something positive and make something change. In regard to the Three of Wands here, I wouldn't bank on wanting the truth from this person. It doesn't seem like that's something that you're going to get. I would take more time and stock in what you do want in your life. And it feels like that's happening. It feels like you have that understanding, and it feels like you're going towards that with gusto. It may be a little bit tender, but it's like, it hurts, but you're going towards that and it's effective. The Three of Wands talks about being patient in regard to what we want, knowing that it's coming, but we just have to be a little bit more patient, okay, before we can achieve what we want here. We essentially, at the bottom of the deck, we have to walk away. We have to walk away here, okay? The Six of Swords talks about leaving situations that are mentally exhausting, getting higher ground, getting a different perspective, moving away to calmer waters. It talks about travel as well, getting away from a situation. Sometimes you have to travel away. Sometimes you have to travel towards family and loved ones. And here at the bottom of the deck, for all of it, we have, well, not for all of it, for this energy here, walking away and getting towards what you want, we have the Two of Cups. Now, I want to mention this because people are like, oh, the Two of Cups, life, love life forever, and da-da-da-da-da. No. The Two of Cups talks about connections that are undeniable. It talks about people that are that soulmate type fabric, you know, people that we love dearly, you know. It talks about friends, family members. It talks about lovers and people, parents, all of the people that we have heavy love with, you know, deep love with. But I want you to pay attention to the imagery in this card, okay? Now, the imagery here, look at these two people. There's some sorrow here. There's some consoling here. There's recognition of love, but also the willingness to walk away from something that we know isn't healthy for us to maintain. So, with that being said, I want to get more into the Queen of Swords, just because this feels like it's taken a while to recognize that this, as much as we love a person, it doesn't work. Okay? That doesn't mean the person's bad. It just means sometimes people are unaware of how they are. Sometimes people are stunted. Sometimes people are so depressed in their lives that they basically create conflict constantly because they don't know how to be healthy. Like, those are realities for some people. If that feels like your situation, this reading may be for you. These readings are not for everybody, but for those that they are for, they will resonate, okay? I want to know about the Queen of Swords, because this is decision making. This is the decisionary point. Show me the Queen of Swords now. Yeah. This is where you're at. Burning it down, breaking it down, shifting it. This energy is excellent here, Aries. This is literally talking about utilizing your power to its greatest effect. You are effective here. By removing this energy, it shows the universe that you are ready for the next phase in your life. You're ready for the next experiences. And it's because you've been honest with yourself. This is all about being honest with yourself. And you're doing an incredible job here. Like, I'm not trying to blow smoke up your ass. Like, it feels like whomever this is recognizing the position and experience for what they've had so far, and it doesn't work anymore. And you're removing yourself from that, and you're changing your experience, and that's entirely beautiful and healthy. The Tower card talks about releasing things. It talks about bringing down the tower. It talks about, bringing down the tower. It talks about breaking down foundations that are entirely faulty. You can't build or have anything on a foundation that's faulty. Nothing can grow on it. It's not stable. If a relationship is not stable, what do? We try and nurture it. We try and help it. We try and help the person. If that is ineffective after so many times, what do? By staying in a situation like that, we only are counterproductive, and it's counterintuitive in regard to what makes sense for us in our lives. So we have to be careful, Aries, in regard to staying in those situations. But in this reading, you're not. You're creating change. You are being very honest with yourself, forthright, and also to this person. And it doesn't mean you have to be an asshole to them. It just means this does not work. And you let it go. You release it. And you're better for it, for sure. Good for you. Good for you. I'm going to pull an oracle card, and then we're going to call it good. Okay? Yeah, good for you. Like, seriously, this is empowerment. This is the type of empowerment that we need to experience more frequently. People, we get very caught up in situations because we love people and we want the best for people and we want to change people and we hope that they change. But after and after and after, time and time again, we've had so many outcomes with somebody where it's just kind of like, this isn't healthy for me. It's about changing that, okay? So let us... That's that. I don't know if I've ever read this card. Chambered Nautilus. All right, let me pull this card because I don't. Chambered Nautilus. Chambered Nautilus, sacred geometry, endurance, expansion. The chambered nautilus is a deep-sea mollusk and has endured for millions of years. Since the time of the dinosaurs, the creature's shell is a marvel of nature. It features the Fibonacci spiral, which is found in both mathematics and in nature. As the nautilus grows, a new chamber is added to the shell to accommodate the creature's larger size. This is about growing, Aries, obviously, but growing. You're expanding the creature having to create an expansion in its chamber, you expanding your life, expanding your perception, your experience in this, because you choose to remove yourself, you choose to no longer engage in a situation that is painful to you. So congratulations, this is incredible growth. A lot of readings right now that I'm doing, there's a really intense theme regarding personal growth and expansion. And while that's always a topic that is always going to be present, it seems like there is much more of that involved right now. I think people are becoming more real with themselves, real with their feelings, recognizing what works and doesn't work, and they're willing to change it. And bravo, Aries, because this is wonderful. So I hope that you found this reading helpful. My name is Isel. I'm on YouTube as the Altruistic Mystic. And yeah, if you found it helpful, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. And if you choose to donate, there's a description. The link is in the description. Blah, 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 blocks below. It's down there. So I will be back in a couple of weeks for the June reading, and we will go from there. All right. Good luck, Aries, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.